Guys, thanks for tuning in. So I'm at the park with the H501s, the HUBSAN X4 H501s, and I'm going to give this thing a thorough flight test today. Also got the G-Tang little I think it's the T909 watch on. This is that little FPV watch where you can pick up FPV signal right on the screen here on your wrist. And so I'm going to be testing this out also while I'm at it, see what the range is like and stuff, see if we can tune into that same channel. But today's all about the X4 H501s, just testing its capabilities. Going to go ahead and put it through all of its paces, discuss all the flight modes, see how stable it is, see how long the battery lasts, see how the FPV looks in the screen. This is the one that has all that telemetry, so it should be pretty neat seeing all that telemetry on the screen. And there's maybe, just a little bit of wind here. Got a little bit of wind coming from this direction, maybe about 5 miles per hour. It's a real nice day today, nice and calm. So let's go ahead and get started on this guy. Also going to get the video from the craft here. And unfortunately, this one, I tested it at home, and this one has micro SD card slot here, but actually you cannot record the stuff on the screen, so that's unfortunate. That's a little con right off the bat where you can't even record that screen with the telemetry. That would have been really nice if they could have implemented that, so maybe that'll be a future implementation where you can record your screen here on the FPV. But anyway, regardless, we're going to test this out. It also has a follow me mode function where you can go ahead and activate that follow me mode, and there's a GPS in the controller here, so it will actually follow your controller. So we're going to test that out as well. So let's go ahead and boot this thing up and see how it does. Alright, so turning on right away, we have the screen with the FPV on it. All the telemetry goes ahead and locks in, and we can see all of the voltages and stuff. So after the initial power on, all we're doing is just going to go ahead and close up the battery door. There we go, and we want to just kind of set it down and wait until we have satellites. And what we're going to be doing while we're waiting is basically doing this compass calibration. And what it has is on the screen here. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it says Calib Compass 1. And for that, you just want to go ahead and rotate it like this a few times. And there we go. And so now it's saying Compass Calib Compass 2. And for this one, we want to go face down, and we just want to spin it like this. And what we're looking for is those green lights to go off and the other lights flash. So that should be the compass calibration. Should be all set. I'm going to go ahead and put this pen down here right underneath it to indicate where we launched from. So when we do use the return to home, we can check how accurate it was in its landing. Alright, so on the screen here, I've got X4 GPS in purple. It's saying there's 12 satellites, and the controller GPS is also 12. It's in both switches down for altitude hold mode. I'm going to go ahead and switch this left switch up, so we're in GPS hold mode, and that will just kind of lock it in its 3D position. Alright, so everything looks good. Let's go ahead and launch this thing, and the way you arm it is you can either go into the bottom or out on the bottom on both sticks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the recording right when we launch so that we can have an accurate timing of the battery timing from the video. So let's go ahead and arm, starting the video by pressing that button, so it's recording video. Let's go ahead and launch. Alright, so this thing is nice and quiet, that's for sure. Just gonna get it up to maybe an eye level. I'll go up a little higher and bring it out here away from this box. So right about that looks good. We come down a little bit. Maybe right about there. There we go. Alright, so just like all my reviews, I'm going to go ahead and do kind of a hover test here. And so first off, let's see how this thing does. It's going to fluctuate a little bit with that altitude because the barometer is influenced by, wind and all that kind of stuff, and it's only accurate within a few feet. So it looks like it's holding its horizontal position really nice. It's still just where I stuck it in the sky there, not touching the controller. It's drifting back a little bit, but not bad at all. I'm seeing some slight fluctuation, like up and down, but I'm looking at the video here, and the video is still pretty clear. There's no gimbal on this or stabilization in the video, so you're going to see that little bit of choppiness because there is no stabilization. So it's kind of gone up a little bit and back just a little, so I'm going to get kind of where I can walk around it here. All right, okay, so we got just a slight couple mile breeze coming from this direction, so I'm not going to touch the controller, and I'm just going to go ahead and see how stable this thing is and walk around it. Definitely really silent versus like the larger 350 size camera platform quads. This thing is really silent. Really pleased with its minimal noise it makes. So still haven't touched the controller since this spot, and it really is locked in its position really good. Some slight fluctuation, and from time to time I will have that video from the craft that I recorded pop up on screen so you can see just how stable it is in certain situations. Right now some wind just kicked in from this direction, and we can see what it's going to do with that little bit of wind. I'm feeling about a 5 mile per hour. You can probably hear it in the mic. We're getting a little bit of fluctuation in its height, a little more than usual, but it's looking really good. It still really hasn't moved more than a foot or so away from that lock, the horizontal lock in its GPS position hold. So very pleased with that. All right, so I think that's a good test on its ability to hold its GPS lock and its barometer function for altitude. Let's go ahead and do a couple of tests like I normally do. Let's go ahead and see how the yaw is on this thing. So I'm going to hold the stick all the way to the left, and that's our full yaw to the left, full yaw to the right. Looks like it's going to kind of move around a little bit horizontally when you first implement it, just because the motors are switching their speeds and stuff. So anyway, that's a good, the yaw looks good. Let's go ahead and do some altitude and punch tests, some vertical speed tests. So from a hover, this is in GPS mode now, so from a hover to full throttle. Nice. So it looks like it starts off kind of slow, but it gains some speed pretty quick. So let's go ahead and full throttle down. Drops pretty quick, letting off. Woo! Almost hit the ground, but not bad at all. Since it's such a light craft, it only dropped right when I let off the stick, maybe about 2 feet until it, you know, locked into its position. So that's pretty good. Not bad at all for this guy. All right, so I'm gonna go zooming around in GPS mode, see how fast it'll fly in this mode. So I'm full stick forward. And we're also kind of testing how it's going to hold its altitude. I'm not going to be touching the altitude at all. Full stick forward. And it's holding its altitude very well. You can see how in GPS mode this is the maximum altitude. I mean the maximum speed. So not bad at all. And you know, this is a decent speed for a camera quad too. You don't want to go too fast or you're going to get a lot of choppy video. So I'm going to pick it up a little so we can get some better video. I'll have the video coming up on the screen again so you can see how it looks flying this fast. It'll go a little higher so the video is decent. Get some decent surroundings while we're flying this fast. So I'm just full stick forward. I'm just hammered. Full stick forward, just flying around me here, and it seems to be doing really good, really smooth, letting off the sticks, and it's going to lock its position there. It's going to find its position where we let off the sticks, and it's going to try to go into its position hold in GPS. So that's great. So really satisfied with that on the GPS mode. Don't really need to fly it much faster than that in GPS to have that, you know, safety function of GPS lock. I am noticing a little bit of drop when I try to pick it up to an altitude. It's kind of dropping a couple feet, but you know, there's some variation in the barometer there apparently, but not too bad, just a couple feet. Let's do a full roll left, full roll right. All right, so it's only going to go as fast as its flight controller lets the predetermined GPS speed go. Now let's switch out of GPS into altitude hold mode, and this should be interesting. So now it's not locked in a horizontal position. You can see it drifting with the wind now. The wind's coming from that direction. So there it goes. And what I'm going to do is, just to show you that GPS lock, I'm going to let it drift. And then I'm going to click in the GPS and you'll see it lock into place. So very good. So it locked into that GPS lock. So let's stay back in altitude mode and let's see how fast it'll fly in just altitude mode, no GPS lock. I can tell already we have a much bigger pitch, much bigger angle, flying much faster, and whoa, okay, just like the X4 Pro, this thing will drive itself into the ground, I think, if you keep going full throttle, I mean full pitch forward, it will hit the ground. It doesn't have enough throttle to keep it up. So that's full forward. So if I kept going, it would hit the ground there. So I don't want to do that. So keep that in mind. Just when you're in altitude hold mode, just be a little careful. Don't full pitch and drive it into the ground. You got to let off, let it pick up back its altitude. You don't want to be braking it. But it is very fast. I mean, let's see if we do full throttle up and full pitch forward, if that full throttle will keep it from, yeah, so full pitch forward and full throttle up, it's actually gaining altitude. So, you know, you just have to keep that in mind when you're flying fast with this one. And you know, a lot of quads are that. Very few quads will actually, if you're in altitude hold mode, very, very few quads will keep their altitude, maintain their altitude on their own when you're full pitch forward. And that's some programming in the flight controller. It's kind of a double-edged sword. If you want your craft to fly really fast and be quick in altitude mode like this, you're going to have some compensation in drop. There's going to be some drop involved in that just because you're flying so fast. But we can see how quick it is. Definitely very sporty in altitude mode. Very happy with that. Looks really good. Full funnels. So at least you get the best, well, not the best, but at least you get both worlds here in sport and also a slow camera quad. So I'll have had some of the video up on that as well, of how that video looks in that super fast flying mode, just to see what the shake is like and, you know, how it maintains that. I was really hammering it, so it's probably not going to be very stable. But anyway, back into GPS, locking in. Let's go ahead and try the follow me function. This should be kind of neat. So I'm going to pick it up a little bit, and what you want to do, actually, before we do the follow me, let's go ahead and do headless mode. So what we want to do is we want to make sure we stand from where we launched from, which would be right here. And then we want to go ahead and click into headless mode, which is the left stick. We just click in. And then what this does is any direction the head is facing, if you push forward, it'll always go in the direction you're pushing the sticks. So it looks like it's maintaining that pretty well. I'm going ahead and I'm rotating the yaw here. A steady yaw, and left is still left, right is still right, forward is still forward. So it looks like it's doing a good job at keeping that orientation. So we're going to just click the left stick again, get out of that mode, and now the head is always forward if we push up on the right stick. Alright, so I'm going to fly out a little bit and try the follow me function. Let's go. I know the camera is probably angled, so we want to be like maybe around this height, about right there. And I'm in GPS lock. And now all I'm going to do is click in this right stick one time, and we can see that the craft is rotating to face me, and it's going to try to keep this screen in view. There, you can see me there. Hello. Alright, this is awesome. So it looks like it's working very well. It knows where this controller is, and so it's locked in. It's trying to keep the controller centered in its screen. And as you may know, GPS, I mean, you know, it's within a few feet of accuracy, so it's probably not going to be perfectly centered, but let's just see how this does. So I'm going to take this, and I'm just going to start walking, and let's see how well it goes ahead and follows us. So with this one, it seems like it will basically lock onto you. Oh, that was a little weird. A little bit of a movement it did there on its own. But anyway, this one will lock onto you, and it won't turn towards you anymore. It'll just lock its point kind of in space, its orientation, and then it will follow you. So it won't go in front of you, won't go behind you. It will basically stay. The camera will just be locked, and then the quad will move around, is what I'm trying to say. And so as you, like, if you go to the right, if I go this way, the quad will not turn. It will just start moving sideways to follow me. So it's doing pretty good. I'm noticing some slight, you know, calculation fixes that aren't really going to be great in the video. It's doing that once in a while, I can see. But it is locked onto me very well. I'm going to go back. So it's in front of me. Let's see if it follows me like this. You saw that little calculation glitch it did. So it looks like it's doing really good. As far as the follow me function, it's not as good as some of the other ones. I'm going to walk towards it now, and let's see. Now it's just backing up on its own. I'm not touching the controllers. I did a little bit of another calculation glitch there. It looks like the flight controller is just trying to compensate and probably doing some stuff. But anyway, here we go. So I'm walking towards it, and it's following me fine. So overall, pretty impressed with this. Not bad at all. So I'm looking at the video here, and we're at 14 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and go out of this. 14 and a half minutes. So just pressing the right stick again gets us out of follow me. And then I'm just going to fly normally again. I want to do a quick little range test real fast. I know our voltage is getting low, so I'm just going to go up here a little bit higher, about that high, and I'm going to go see how far we can kind of get until we kind of lose range. I'm just going to go over to the other park over there and just do a nice and easy range test. I'm looking at the screen here. It's getting a little bit fuzzy, dropping out once in a while. So I'm just full pitch forward, going over there. I'll have the video up on the screen of the craft, what it's doing, and also hopefully you can see this screen here on how the FPV screen looks. So once in a while it's dropping out, getting clear, and then it gets fuzzy again. So I'm going to stop it there. So it looked like we have pretty good range. That's like 2 football fields right there. I'm 2 parks across, almost. Well, maybe not all the way. Let's get more near those trees, and then that'll be a better. That's about 2 football fields there. All right, cool. So what I'm going to do, this might be a little risky, but I'm going to shut off the controller. And this is a failsafe test. So I completely shut off the controller. This thing should come back and it should land right there. And you know, I do these kinds of risks so you guys can see how these things perform. Sometimes they're not the smartest things to do, but I like just to do these things once in a while just to make sure, you know, these things are going to work how they're supposed to. So I really hope it comes back. Yeah, there it is. All right, cool. So it's coming back at a pretty good pace, about its maximum GPS speed as when we were controlling it. Still have the controller off. Whoa, it looks like there's, oh crap, there's a whole swarm of bees and wasps around it. So I'm gonna get way back here. That's gonna be interesting. So it's gonna land with all of these bees or wasps swarming around it, and I don't want to be anywhere near that. So there it goes. Hopefully you guys can see all these wasps. Please don't land on the box. Oh, it landed right on the box. Oh, so I can't disarm because I have to turn the controller back on. So I'm gonna go ahead and disarm now. And there we go. Wow, that was awesome. All right, so hopefully those bees kind of dissipated. Holy cow. It looks like I cut some up in the process. So that pissed off some bees pretty bad. But as we can see here, regardless, that's going to be some cleaning for sure. You can see poor bees or wasps or whatever it cut up, but you can see all the splatters of bees. Wow, I guess this one has the tone that really attracts them. Anyway, you can see where I launched from right here. So that's 3 feet. So that's totally acceptable for return to home. And it looks like possibly the video had stopped when I turned off the controller. Definitely a pretty neat quadcopter here. All right, so I got it back up again. The bees are totally swarming it again. I'm hoping you guys can see that in the video because that's insane. I got a whole swarm of bees attacking it right now. But apparently with this one, you can't take pictures while you got the videos recording. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do kind of a panoramic yaw here. Real quick, this is a slow turn. While these bees just get, sorry bees, they're just getting like grinded up in the propellers, man. It must be the sound of this one or something, or maybe they're just around here today. But man, that's a lot of bees just attacking it. I can just see the swarm up there all around it. Sorry guys. Anyway, gonna stop the recording and see how the pictures are. So before I finish this review, I just want to see how this G-Tang watch does. I went ahead and tuned in right into the HUBSAN X4 H501s with the watch. I have a clear picture. So I have a really nice and clear picture and a really fast picture too. I'm not seeing really any lag on there. That's awesome. So I'm just going to set the quad there so we can see the horizon here. And of course we can see the OSD on the screen, and I'm just gonna walk all the way over here across the park and see you know, how the watch does. Still very clear here. So that's like I'm like maybe 200 feet away now, and it's working really good. If I've got the watch not between me and the quad, it's still very nice and clear. So this thing looks like it's going to be very neat to have, like, you know, just watching other people's FPV probably. But anyway, that's about like 200 feet and still crystal clear. So I'd imagine this thing will go probably about as far as the video on this stock would go, which was, I was 2 football fields, and the video on this was still clear and visible with some slight dropouts. So I need to turn this thing off right away because we're at 6.1 to 6 volts, and I don't want to destroy this battery, so let's go ahead and unplug this ASAP. Cool, so a little bonus in here, the G-Tang watch and how it looks and range capabilities, a short little range test with the HUBSAN X4 H501s. Anyway, that was the flight test, guys, of the HUBSAN X4 H501s with a bee attack included. That was pretty nuts. Good test regardless. Let's go over some pros and cons real fast before we wrap this up. So con, you can't record the screen. It would have been so nice for them to give you the ability to just when you press record on here, and if there's a card in here, that it would just record there. That would have been so awesome. And I really hope HUBSAN implements that. That'll just bring it up to the next level and really complete the package. But anyway, super small, super light, great flight time of 20 minutes. You can't really ask more for that. I'm going to be going ahead. I ordered another battery, the full-size battery, and I'm going to be attaching it somehow to the bottom. Probably want to let this breathe a little, so I'll probably be spacing it a little bit and attaching another battery to the bottom. I also ordered a Y cable that parallels the 2 batteries together. So just going to do some testing and see if it can handle 2 batteries, since these batteries are so light, and what kind of flight time we get over the advertised 20 minutes. Now again, this one did get that 20 minutes of flight time, so it did really good as advertised. You can see the video up on the screen of how well it did. A little bit of a glitch once in a while in the follow me. It seemed like it wanted to readjust once in a while for some reason. That could probably be tuned out in some updated software, just to give it a little bit smoother flight while it's in the follow me mode. But that worked pretty good. It seemed like the range was, I was 2 football fields, 600 yards away, and I had a little bit of scratchiness in the screen, but not too bad. You can see how I did that controller shut off test, where I went ahead and just turned the controller off for the failsafe, and the thing zoomed right back to me, landed 3 feet from its launch point with a swarm of bees attached, and it did really well. Anyway, guys, I do a lot of reviews like this, flight tests, mods, pros and cons, all kinds of stuff on different RC vehicles and quadcopters. So go ahead and check out the channel. I think you'll like it. And don't forget, I will have this one down in the description of the video. So check that link to see all the specs and the pricing on it as it is now. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.